For those of you who don't recognize me from other works when I had short hair and whatnot, my name is Bruce Venture. Go ahead and hit the subscribe and notify bell so you can get these future streams. Quick disclaimer, not a medical professional. Nothing I say is intended as health advice. I'm also not a financial advisor. Nothing I say is a recommendation for an investment. I'm also a law-abiding citizen. Nothing I say is an admission of guilt. That being said, it's a lovely day today. We're waiting for some people to show up here. I forgot to advertise this stream ahead of time, so hopefully somebody does show up. If not, then it was nice talking to you guys briefly. Noi, what's up? You're here. Okay, somebody's here. How are you doing? I'm good. I hope I'm not going to get in trouble for streaming with my shirt off, but I just came from the beach. I got up early before the sun, and yeah, went on a nice long walk with the dog. I realized that Sam's happiness is so much higher when we do early morning beach walks. Like first thing, just wake up and hit the beach. Makes Sam really happy. He likes that. So, what's up, Wiggs? Welcome, welcome. Franquita, how are you doing? Good morning, good morning. It's a lovely day. I have some good news, you guys. Thanks to an extraordinarily generous donation towards the fulfillment of this stream, we are about 1 to 2 weeks away from a dramatic increase in both stream quality and frequency. I just placed my order for my Starlink satellite. So instead of streaming in the driver's seat of my vehicle, soon we'll be streaming from a much more professional setup and with a much more scenic setting. And luckily I won't have to go to grocery stores and Starbucks and everything else to stream anymore. So I'll be able to just, stream at will, which is amazing. And Noi, thank you so much for the donation. I really, really appreciate that. You guys, thank you all. Thank you all just for being here and for existing and everything else. The Holy Unibrow. I like that. I'm going to start calling it that. Curtis Knight, you just changed the world, because no longer am I going to just refer to it as the Unibrow. I will now refer to it from henceforth going forward. It is thus known as the Holy Unibrow. You guys like that? I like it. I think it was good. That's a good change. I feel upgraded. Izana, welcome. Henceforth, the Holy Unibrow. As a matter of fact, I might change my name. My whole name might just be like, I might just drop Bruce Venture as like my stage name. And I might just like what do you call it? I might rebrand myself now as the Holy Unibrow. Yes. I don't know. And it's not even, I don't even have to, you know what? The beautiful thing is that I don't even have to be, what's that thing called when you like self-appointed? I'm not even the self-appointed Holy Unibrow. Our great friend here, Curtis Knight, has dubbed me the Holy Unibrow. So I I am not even, did a blunt materialize again? No, but I'm hoping it does someday. I would like the next blunt that I smoke to be a holy or a divine blunt from the from the ether. That would be amazing. As a matter of fact, I got to tell you guys one thing about the holy blunt that came to exist before the Holy Unibrow. It was the best blunt of my life as well. I gotta tell you, like, I always thought that I was a good, I got the skills to roll, which, made the whole event even more strange, because literally nobody could roll in the style that it was rolled in except for me. So that's how I knew that I was also existing outside of the matrix, and that I still had my inner matrix skills on the outside, because my blunt that beamed in was rolled in my own personal style and freshly done. So that's how I know. That's how I know. Wait 1 second, I got a view message. It's just a bunch of G's. Okay. Well, that's nice that people are spamming my chat. Stop frowning. Did I frown? Unibrow is very spiritual. Duality becoming unity. You know what? Easy breezy. I don't know if you're being sarcastic or not, but I like that. That is poetic. Unibrow is spiritual. It is duality becoming unity. So I feel that happening within my head. As a matter of fact, I have felt the two lobes of my brain merge together more and more as this hair has grown in the middle. And I wonder if it's related. It's almost to the point that I feel like I only have one, unified lobe altogether now. I don't even know if perhaps the division inside my head is also getting tighter. I don't know. It's hard to say. Aiming to game. That is a weird question. I never really thought about that. And I probably wouldn't suggest testing it out, to be honest. I'm not going to read that question out loud, because I don't know how that goes with terms and conditions on here, but that is a really weird question to wonder. Mayor of Browntown, Mayor of Browtown. I like that. Was share the blunt? Of course. As a matter of fact, if it doesn't manifest, we'll have to make I'm hoping that one day I will get to, is that manifesting, or wait 1 second, I gotta get my terminology right. If something materializes from thin air and falls to the ground, is that still manifesting, or is that conjuring? Is that like another level of, like, is that beyond? That might be beyond manifesting. I don't know, but I know that there's. I heard that there's goods to be had in Amsterdam as well. Melanie, welcome. Good to see you. Zana had a perfect blunt in Chensao. Nice. I didn't know. That is awesome. I didn't know that you smoked. That is so good. I feel like I would like to smoke in Chisinau as well. I've never been there. Do some more DMT. I've never done DMT. I think that my brain is now like producing DMT on its own. I'm pretty sure. But I'm curious about the DMT thing, because I have a little bit of, like, I wouldn't say a lot. Definitely not a scientist, not a medical professional, but I am interested in neuroscience. And I'm also quite interested, speaking of blunts, in, the long-term effect of, using cannabis, then stopping and then using it again. I find that even if somebody has never smoked before, like my first time smoking, I don't think I was nearly as high as any time that I ever smoked after not smoking for a long time, after being addicted to it for a long time. So my theory there, and it's somewhat backed by research, is that, you know, using something like that for a long time, as you develop a tolerance, you're also developing increased amount of receptors for this. You know, in that case, it would be cannabinoid receptors. But, you know, all these types of things kind of have, you know, what do you call it? Receptors, not transmitters, receptors. So you increase your amount of receptors, right? And I'm wondering, like, would that work also with DMT? Like, if you just did DMT all the time, like, do you think that you would increase the amount of DMT receptors to the point that your own natural DMT would increase or be received better? Or would you just dull your receptors to the point that you had to do it exogenerously? I don't think I'm saying that right, but you know, putting it in from the outside, and that you would no longer, you would be too numbed from the high dosage to feel your own personal DMT releases, which happen occasionally at some point if you purify your body and mind enough. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's a thought. It's a thought. Give Anna a blunt and she will smoke it. Teach her how to roll. I have a feeling you would learn quick. You know, it's a technique, you know, like when I smoke, in the rare case that I do smoke nowadays, I usually don't even you know, use any tobacco, but when I was smoking blunts, I like to use like a real tobacco leaf, like one that's like, looks like it came off the plant. And that's what I meant by, like, it's hard to roll because you have to, like, you know, rip it along the veins, you know, and you take like a little section out and it's kind of like, you know, shaped all weird, and then you gotta like spiral roll it, and then that way it ends up being straight, even though it's only, and long, even though the thing you're using is only this wide to roll. It's interesting. Please say my name, Anna. I think I said your name when I read you asking to say your name. So hi, Anna, how are you doing? Okay, I'm gonna have to thank you for deleting this person's comments. When someone is being really, really weird and, oh, they're already hidden. Okay, you did good. Okay, perfect. I'm still seeing their comments, but let's see. What is this? This is harassment. Okay, sorry guys, I had to report someone real quick. One brain now. Smooth brain, I like that. I must be so, whatchamacallit? What's up? Damn, dude, you have a lot of testosterone. You know, I haven't had my testosterone checked in a long time, but I'll tell you what, the last time I had it checked was when I was 30 years old. And it was still 1,200 total. I don't know how much free testosterone, I don't really remember. But it was, when I was 30, it was still 1,200, and I know it fluctuates. I had it tested a few times. Sometimes it was like as low as like in the mid 800s, but I think 800, 1,200 is still really high for your 30s. I don't know. I haven't done it in a long time. I would like to have it checked again. I don't know what that means, so I'm not going to read that. Gabby Melia, you're new. Well, welcome. We're happy to have you. Rakita is answering my question from earlier. It says it is manifesting. Okay, I'll take it. Conjuring sounded cool. I was hoping that maybe I was like on another level, like I had a new, you know, skill set, like not just manifesting but also conjuring. But I think maybe conjuring is something else. Maybe that's what conjuring is, like when you bring like a spirit to life or something. I could be saying this all wrong. What line of work are you in, and in after your acting career or you're fully retired? I'm trying to make this YouTube thing work, you guys. It's I just finally monetized it. You know, so it's, you know, of course starting slow, but there's been some very generous people along the way, and I'm really just trying to, I don't know that I would say that I work at all. I probably should work some, but I don't really believe personally in working. I do believe in earning, and I would like to earn using my mind and whatever experiences and stuff that I've had. I'd like to share that. Like I've been, you know, I was talking about this recently. I am a legendary fuck up, you guys. Like I don't like to, you know, I don't like to like talk myself up too much, but in the realm of fucking up, similar to the realm of just fucking in general, this is my it's like a specialty of mine. You know what I'm saying? So I have done I've made a tremendous amount of mistakes in my life, and I haven't done that many things really, you know, without mistakes. I've actually honestly fucked up almost everything I've ever done. So, other than like my personal existence, you know, which is ultimately the most important part. You know, you can fuck up a lot as long as you know, stay alive and healthy and good natured and, you know, mentally growing. You know, you just can't fuck yourself up permanently is the key. But in doing all this fucking up, which I don't mind saying that I am probably one of the best in this regard, I learned a lot. You know what I'm saying? And I know that it's outside of human nature to learn from other people's mistakes. But in the rare case that somebody is capable of doing that, which is very rare, very extremely rare quality, I want to make sure that the information and the things that I learned through my tremendous career of fucking up is out there for them, you know, so that maybe, you know, that select 0.05% of the population that is capable of learning from other people's mistakes can learn from my mistakes, you know, can benefit from the wisdom that was earned through those mistakes. Because let's face it, an easy life does not necessarily teach you right. It just is easy. And I don't know how many people have actually had an easy life out there. I feel like this world is not really designed to give people too much of an easy life. And in the rare cases that it does deliver an easy life, I feel that most people with an easy life tend to create hardships for themselves, which is just an observation to be noted. Anyways, let me go ahead and check up on the chat because I don't want to get too far behind, but that was a good question. I would like to, but to finish it, my heart is in my writing, which I don't publish, but I do. Someday I maybe will start publishing some stuff, but until then, I'm a professional exister. Zana says she has a blunt once a year, haven't had one in a while, and this one was really good, courtesy of a classmate. That's awesome. Are you there now in Moldova? Thank you for doing the good administrative work of kicking out the trolley people. Franketta, Susan Larson, welcome. How are you doing? your friend mixes weed with tobacco, you don't like it. Yeah, you know, it's a totally different situation. In general, if you don't do it regularly, it makes you kind of nauseous. You know what I mean? I think, but it definitely kicks it up a notch. It totally different experience. Tobacco leaf blunt in Brazil in the middle of the night in the rainforest hits different. Yes, I'm sure it does. I didn't realize you'd been to Brazil. That is awesome. I would like to return back to Brazil one day. I don't know if you're aware, but I don't know if I'm allowed in Brazil. I might be banned from Brazil. I don't know. Last time I was there, I had to like evacuate the country like in the middle of my trip. Buford's buddy. Welcome. What's up, Nico? How you doing? It is either tobacco or, oh yeah, one or the other is also different. Fun fact, opossums don't have ridges in their brains. Just saying. So I could be, are opossums marsupials? Do you think I'm becoming a marsupial? I don't know. I'm questioning life. I don't know what's going on. The unibrow is going great. I gotta tell you, the more and more it goes, the more and more it grows on me. I don't know if it's just like some kind of weird like tendency that humans have to like adapt to seeing themselves a certain way, and you know, eventually you're just kind of like, yeah, this is cool. But you know, the more and more, like there was like some stages when I really thought I was like, yeah, oh, damn, I'm fucking looking terrible. But now I'm kind of like, I'm like, you know what? If this ever does become a trend, good luck to the people out there trying to, you know, I think I don't know if this might be a, you know, this might be a genetic thing. Like, I think you might, I don't know if everyone can necessarily grow it like this. You might need a little extra Neanderthal DNA to grow one like this. Sarah Rosieser, welcome. Put that shirt on a t-shirt, Noi. I am a major fuck up. Yes, we're gonna do a lot of, I think t-shirts are big, you know. That was one of the things that got unlocked on the monetization thing. And, you know, many people have been very generous and donated, and I'm super thankful. And even the people that have just attended and helped me get to the hours, I'm also very grateful. But I know that donations is not something that everybody necessarily wraps their head around. And so I feel like I should make some t-shirts. We should definitely make t-shirts. You know what I mean? Like, I think we should make t-shirts that are like memes. They can have our little personal sayings that's, you know, stuff from the streams. But then we could also like put some kind of, you know, memeage on there. People would love meme shirts. I can't believe meme shirts don't even exist. I can't believe I just said meme shirts on stream live to the world, and now, you know, I'm probably not organized to be the first. You know, even though it was my idea, I was the meme shirter. I don't even know if that's legal. You might need that might be a copyright issue. I'll have to use my own face. I can copy other memes, expressions, instead of like, you know, doing that annoying thing that everybody does where they copy the audio thing. I could just be like, I can like copy the meme expressions. That would be a thing. Legendary FF, there's a grand plan. Without mistakes, you don't gain wisdom. Exactly. You know what? The dangerous thing is when you know that. It's better to not realize how wisdom is gained. You know, and just let it come naturally, because then you don't like purposely become a fuck up. But like, you know, one of my first fuck ups was realizing the value of fucking up. And then once I realized how valuable it was to fuck up, you know, I feel like I started becoming, you know, somewhat addicted to that progress. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, wow, I can just like do whatever the fuck I want, and I'm always going to, you know, benefit somehow. You know, one of those kind of things. It's like it always reminds me of like a quote from this, it's a Tibetan monk in Germany. he said, when things go right, we make kefir. But when things go wrong, we make cheese. And I thought that was fucking beautiful. Because what it means is that you make something good out of anything. Doesn't matter if shit goes wrong. You still make it good. You find the value of no matter what happens, even if it's, you know what I'm saying, everything goes bad, you still end up with something good in the end. And that's what we're talking about here when we talk about fucking up and gaining wisdom. All right? Don't be afraid to fuck up. Just make cheese. That's it. No big deal. Dominic Troop, what's up, bro? Frankita talking in German. Wiggs is also a massive fuck up. Oh, well, I'm proud of you, Wiggs. I'm proud of you. Sarah Rosier also is legendary in that. Hey, man. See, this is you know what I realize now? I think that this is like, this is potentially a, you know, I don't want to, you know, label anybody, but I feel that potentially maybe that's what draws people in here, is that they recognize another legendary fuck up and realize that we're already part some kind of weird tribe where we don't like know each other because we're too busy fucking up all the time. But, you know, in the heart and the soul, you know, maybe in another dimension or something, we're like hanging out with our higher spirits and just fucking laughing our asses off together about how epically we're constantly fucking up. I don't know. Do I think I'll go back to acting? Well, since you mentioned it like that, said acting, I'll say no. Because, not to say that I have any plans for it, but if I did ever film again, and film the things that which I am best at, it would not be an act. You know, I might potentially be interested in documenting an explicit spiritual act. Not to say that it would be acting, but it would be like an action, an explicit spiritual action. I might be down to document something like that for scientific purposes, to, you know, teach people how to you know, create a circuit of energy between two bodies that can like amplify you know, certain things within the human biome. I wouldn't even say biome, but we could even, what would be like the biome, but like the metaphysical version, like not just the body, but the body and the etheric layers and like all that stuff combined. There's got to be a word for that. It would be a, let's see, a genome, biome. That would be a macrome. Would that be a macrome? I don't know. I'm making up words now. Asher Gray says, absolutely. I tell people often because it's true. I think more rationally than I do emotionally. Plus, instead of using the term mistake, I learn from other people's decisions, good and bad. Blessed, Asher. You are a blessed person then, because it's very rare. And in you being able to do that is like a gift that is beyond this realm. Like that comes from above. You know what I'm saying? Because your soul has to be somewhat developed to have the knowledge to realize the value of learning from other people's mistakes. That was something I personally was not blessed with. I just tried everything and you know, got mixed results. Wiggs, my screw-ups in life have allowed me to learn lots of things about myself and others, and that is an amazing observation. Sam, chill. Hey, stop it, dude. Yeah, observation is key, you guys. I gotta say this very important note. Don't judge anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, even yourself. Like, stop judging yourself. Just observe. And it might seem weird to observe yourself because you're looking outward from your eyes, and it's like, not everybody is gifted to the sense of, remote viewing themselves, but it's a good practice. Like, if you observe self-observation, this is something that is a spiritual act in itself. You know what I'm saying? Observing others is different. I wouldn't say that's something that is a practical, in the sense of understanding like your own empathetic limitations, or in other words, the scope of perception. You know what I'm saying? Understanding how difficult it actually is for most people to see or imagine life through somebody else's eyes without actually having that person's experiences. But self-observation is like yoga. You know what I'm saying? Self-observation is like the deepest, one of the deepest spiritual practices that you can possibly do. You know what I'm saying? Like, in my opinion, my humble opinion, self-observation is, it's a key to like meditation and so many other things, because the more and more advanced that you become in the sense of self-observing, the more and more you will realize that you don't actually have a voice. You know what I'm saying? That, the voice in your head's not you, but the voice that talks is also, in a sense, not you. That there is a you which exists outside of this body, that exists outside of this realm, that is so advanced that it doesn't need words. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't think in words. It thinks in pure thought. It's pure consciousness. It doesn't, have these bottlenecks of language and judgment and things like that. It just exists as pure consciousness, and that's literally you. Like, you are that. And the more that you self-observe yourself, the more that you can realize that. And the more that you realize that, I can't even try to explain the possibilities there. But it's a lot. Ice Agent says, what is your ethnicity? They want to say Australian or Egyptian. Is Australian aren't Australian people like British, kind of? I don't know. Anyways, but to my knowledge, I am neither. Though I've never done a DNA test. I did have my sister DNA tested, and my nephew, and my father took one. So through those things, I have derived some kind of image of what my mother may be. But on my father's side, my father is mostly Swedish and German, but with a little bit of Norwegian and a little Irish and British mixed in there. Basically just, Viking. And my mother, I believe, according to my sister's DNA, my mother must be mostly Scottish, but also a bunch of other random kind of, you know, Irish and a little Dutch, you know. But you know, with siblings, you can get different amounts of different DNAs. And it's interesting because me and my sister don't look nothing alike. If you would see me and my sister side by side, and for sure we have both of the same parents, you would never ever guess that we were related. Except for maybe the eyes, because she has almost the same eyes as me, but just a little bit lighter green without the blue rim. But aside from that, like, we have completely different skin tones. Like, I tan, she burns. She's got straight hair, I have curly hair. She's got freckles, I don't. We're just like really, really, really different. So I don't really know what else is in there. Like, I mean, I definitely obviously have, I don't think that anyone would disagree that, you know, if somebody was casting a movie about Neanderthals, like, I would probably be first up for that role. So, you know, I definitely feel like some, you know, recessive ancient caveman DNA kind of like popped up in me, but I don't know. Possums are marsupials. You know, I love marsupials. I think they're so cool. Let's see. Zana says, no, I'm back home now. Had a good time down memory lane. Same moments. Felt like you were 15 again. Going back in October. Oh, that's so good. I'm so happy to hear that. I don't know what this little orange thing is at the bottom that somebody did. Oh, Zana. Zana sent $20. Damn, thank you. That is very nice. Oh, it's the first super on the stream. Thank you. Or Zana's first super. I don't know. It's telling me stuff, but that's cool. That's awesome. Thank you for showing us how that works. 1 second. Samir from India, welcome. Dominic Troop, what is your real name, Bruce? My real name, well, my real name is personal. I'm not talking about my government name, but I'm talking about my, like, spirit name. Though I'm sure you've all heard it before. My government name is Garrett, which there's not a lot of Garretts out there, so I don't know how that affected me. But, you know, Bruce was my my own personal creation, my taken name, and through my last major spiritual experience, I uncovered my soul's name, which was more of like a syllable, so I won't bother you with that. Samir loves the videos. Well, I'm glad that you like them. It would be bad if you didn't, I guess, in some way. Well, I guess it's all subjective, but Asher Gray says, do you have an online wish list anywhere that'll let people buy certain items for you and send it to you directly? You know, I don't. We would have to. I did make a wish list, but I mainly put like bigger items. I need to redo it. I think that it might be in my bio on here. If it's not in my bio, thank you for reminding me that I never actually ended up posting it. But that's a great idea. If it's not, I should do that, and also to put some more, like, you know, basic stuff on there. But at the time I was trying to figure out what I needed. It was like I made it at the point when I kind of like realized that I like the nomad life, and that I probably will not go back to domesticated lifestyle. And so I started like figuring out like what I needed to smooth out this lifestyle, which a big one of those things just got checked off the list yesterday or today. I'm so happy about that. I cannot wait to have internet. May I use the value of fucking up for my own memoirs, or do you call it episode? That is all you. If I will settle for a dedication page. Doesn't have to be the whole book, but just the title. I just want one page that says the title of this book is dedicated to the Holy Brow. My new name. You know, so now I'm collecting. I'm auditioning for what's that disorder where people got borderline personality. Sorry, bad joke. Can I come to India for a tour? You know, I have a GoFundMe on my bio, Samir. I'm trying to raise money to move to India for 6 months to a year at least. But yeah, it's moving, it's going. I'm hoping that it'll happen eventually. Though I was thinking I need, well, one second. Noise says, yeah. Noise sense. Again, thank you, Noy. So, wait, just so I know, what's the difference between, is it a super like? Or is it a, what's the other thing? I don't know, but thank you. Thank you, I appreciate you. Zana says, yes, it is beautiful. Like, when life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. Exactly. Kefir and cheese saying is more. Yeah, when life gives you lemons, you make lemonade, which it's a good saying also, but it has a slightly different meaning. You know what I'm saying? Like, or to me, it's a slightly less complete thought. You know what I'm saying? Because life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. That's like being like, okay, we didn't get the best of the best. We didn't get oranges. We didn't get apples. You know what I'm saying? We got lemons, but we made something tasty from it. You know what I'm saying? But the cheese, kefir, yogurt connection is different because that means that we're trying. We're trying to do better than lemons. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're trying to make kefir. You know what I'm saying? We're trying. We're doing our best. And if it doesn't work, we got a backup plan. We're gonna turn an L into a W no matter what. That's what we're doing. That's what we're all about. Wow, this is amazing. This is a great stream. So far, let's see. Zana says, let's see. Bruce says, oh, Dominic's wishing me a nice day. Thank you. Zana says, you're a Viking, unibrow, your sister doesn't. Yeah, that's true. Well, I don't know. I'll have to ask her. I don't know if she, it's hard to say. I definitely have, I would imagine that I probably am the sole keeper of the unibrow in my family. But, you know, it's not really surprising. If you look at my bones, I don't really have, let's talk about this. Like, you know, this brow almost goes all the way across the unibrow section also, like the bone bar. Another interesting thing, back to what I was talking about the other time about hair being a part of the nervous system and its important is what I'm starting to notice from my scraggly cheek hairs. Check me out. See how it kind of grows in like a, you know, I used to always think that people like shaped their sideburns to be like that, but I'm realizing that it naturally grows in this little like triangle right here, right? And so I was looking at like maps of like nerve structures and stuff in the human body, and there's the temple has a bunch of nerves that come out of your temple, and one branches down here like this in like a triangle shape, and the other goes across your brow like this. And it's just so interesting because you can literally see the shape of the nerves like branching out from it. Like, it's like crazy that everyone's cutting off all their hair. It's literally like shaving your nerves shorter. You know what I mean? Like, this is just like the part of our nerves that, you know, obviously if you break a nerve, like you lose function to that part of the body. You know, the nerves are like important, but it needs an interface to the outside of the body, which is expendable, which can be damaged and regrown and regenerate and whatever, this, that, and the other. That's literally what your hair is. Your hair is the interface for your nervous system to the outside world. And in that sense, it's important. You know what I mean? Can you imagine, like, humans, what we would look like? It's not about what they look like, but just think about how much hair a human would have by the age of even 20, but even my age, I'm almost 40, if you never in your life ever cut any of your hair. You would be like a little fur ball. But not even really would you be a fur ball. You would have, you know, big dreadlocks, like, down to your knees, you know what I'm saying? Like, your nervous system, if you consider your hair part of your nervous system, your nervous system would literally probably weigh 2 to 3 times as much, maybe even more than that, than it does right now with your hair. As it, you know what I'm saying, like, especially as a man, like, we got a lot of hair. Think about how much weight, like, you know what I'm saying, if you compared the nerves inside your body to, like, the weight of your hair, like, that's a, you know, and said that this is part of the same system, like, that's a substantial portion of your system. Imagine 10, 20 years of hair growth, how much your hair would weigh. And if you think of hair as, like, outside of your body nerves, that's a lot of nerves that you're shearing off. I don't know, just something. Let's see, Susan Lar says, I don't mean to be a buzzkill here, Bruce, but it's been almost 5 months since my latest update on the fan page. Listen, I've been editing. I just color graded a bunch of stuff a couple days ago. I will literally go right now after this stream, Susan, and I'm going to go export the stuff that I released or that I color graded and start uploading right away. And it will be kind of like a flood on the premium page, because I need to get everything up onto the pay-per-view page, and obviously everything that goes up on pay-per-view needs to also be on the package deal. So should be a nice flood. I'm so sorry about that. I am a terrible content provider. I know this. It's a really weak point in my existence, but it's a major area that I'm hoping to improve on. And if I do ever manage to fix my current situation to a level that I can spread the love and share the love a little bit, I will definitely be hiring some people to manage that for me so that I can you know, be a better provider for the people that are you know, there for that. They are stickers. Thank you for answering that. So there's a stickers, one's a sticker, one's a super like, or no, are they both super likes? Are they both stickers? I don't know. The sticker thing was like, the limited say means that I'm settling for something I don't really want. Well, I don't know. That's another way of thinking about it. I liked my way better, but it's okay. Yeah. Maybe I just like lemonade more than you. I don't know. There are a few ways to interpret the lemons. Beauty's in the eyes of the beholder, you know what I'm saying? Very interesting on hair connection. Avatar. Exactly. Oh my God. See, they know. They know. They know. Like, I'm so sad about the big trees, you guys. Like, I don't know if I'm just falling for the fucking bullshit, but like, you know, these geometric formations with the hexagons and shit, like, I am not buying that those are volcanic things. Like, they are trees that have been cut down. Like, I think that we are living in post-apocalypse Avatar, dude. Sorry, I didn't mean to say dude, but it's just like, comes out when I start thinking really stoner thoughts. But, I literally think that we're living, like, this earth is literally, I think Avatar was a documentary about, like, our ancient history. And I think that this, you know what I'm saying? Like, this probably used to be like that. And some fucking assholes came here and destroyed everything and then populated it with, you know, nerfed down humanoids that they created from something or brought from somewhere else. I don't know. It's just like, this is clearly all gone to hell. What's the H.P. Lovecraft creature called? I don't know. I don't know what H.P. Lovecraft is, to be honest. Yes, I also agree about the mushrooms, Melanie. I was like, so I went down that whole rabbit hole, and like one of the most, you know, a lot of them you can actually see the root structures very clearly, and you know, obviously those would be trees, but I have experimented with other areas of biology and whatnot as well, and I would say that I think that, like, the most famous, for example, is the devil's, I think it's called devil's chimney, or devil's, I don't know. There's one of the more famous, like, ones that people are like, it looks like a tree, but it doesn't have roots. But if you look at the bottom, it looks like the bottom of a mushroom. And if you also break down mushrooms and, like, look at them in a different way, like the mycelium and all, you can literally see, like, it creates those fibers even more than like trees and stuff. You know, like trees have veins and things that transport you know, whatever liquids and nutrients and stuff around, but like mushrooms are like completely and totally composed of little fibers like that. So it's like a clear difference. But yeah, I think that there used to be, like, I don't think it was just like dinosaurs were big. I think, who knows, maybe dinosaurs were small back then. Like maybe dinosaurs were like the dogs of the giants or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like you know what I'm saying? Like, people are like, oh, T-Rex, it was the biggest, baddest thing ever. But maybe that was like the equivalent to like a Rottweiler back then. You know what I mean? Like, if you know, so I don't know. All right, caught up on the chat. That's good. So what's up? Anyone got any questions? Anything you want to talk about? We're almost an hour in. Oh. You know, I feel like I'm energized as well from the early morning. I've been, you know, it's been a while, honestly. Like the last couple weeks, I've been like sleeping in till like 8:30 or even 9 o'clock. And, you know, I got up today at like, I don't know, 6 or something, 5:30, like right before the sun up, and just went straight down and grounded on the beach. So walked a couple miles, and I feel juiced right now. I feel amped up. Sam's happy. What's up, buddy-o? You're being depresso? Come on, bud. You guys want to see something shameful that I just found? I don't know if this means anything to anyone, but look at, this is my, let's see, I cover the number. It's my chairman's card. It's expired now, but anyways, just an interesting, for those that know what that means. Oh, that is a great question, Melanie. Thank you for asking this. Melanie says, I have the possibility to work with a woman who works with human design. Do you think that makes sense? What do you know about human design? Okay, so I don't know a lot. That is an art form in its own. There's a lot there to learn. So I can't claim to know very much. I am familiar with the human design, and I have learned quite a bit about my own personal human design, which, shockingly, makes me totally I do believe there is truth and something to learn and know and benefit from the human design. Like, I myself am a projector, and I resonate with that tremendously. Like, I'm a 4/6 projector with an emotional authority. Yeah, I guess that's all I really remember. But but as far as like the projector thing goes, it helped me a lot to regarding like the actual way that my physical body operates energetically, if that makes sense. So like, like, I am a person that is very, very, very drained by interaction with a lot of people at one time. I connect very, very well with one person at a time in physical, proximity. And the fact that I have an undefined sacral center, and that what that means is that I don't really have a lot of my own I have a very limited supply of personal energy. That I also feel that that's part of the reason why I benefit energetically from sex. So, I feel that, that is something that kind of like charges me up, because my own personal energy source is limited. And I'm also, resonate with the fact of, like, projectors are people that are good at like directing others, but not good at directing themselves. So, and that is definitely me. I'm very much so that person. Like, I can improve any system, but I cannot create a system that works for my own life. Where or how did I purchase Starlink? Oh, okay, so this is also, let me tell you, if you're interested in the Starlink. So this is off. I'm normally not into the consumer thing, but it's a big. Right now there is a sale, and I don't know the universe just doing good for me, because there's been a couple pieces of equipment that I needed along the way, and a generator was one of them. And at some point I got a generator for a $200 discount. Just magically had a sale one day when I was like, I need a generator, and it was like on sale, Costco. But anyway, Starlink is on sale right now. The standard kit is $200 off right now until October 5th. And I just went on Starlink website, and I just ordered it with Apple Pay or whatever. So we'll see how long. It says 1 to 2 weeks. But yeah, the standard kit is on sale because they just launched the mini. So now they make a little mini dish that like fits in a backpack, but that one's like $600, which is the price that the old one used to be. But they just dropped the old price down to like $299 or whatever. And I got unlimited data inland for $150 a month. So literally $450 to get you started, and then $150 a month right now till October 5th if you're in the market for Starlink. So I would highly suggest that if you are planning on buying Starlink, pull the trigger before October 5th, because you're going to save $200. And the standard dish is faster than the mini dish. I did a little research, and as much as the mini dish is super appealing, as a traveler, um, as a streamer and stuff, I am quite happy to got the discount on the standard dish, which goes up to like 180 megs download versus 100 megs on the mini. So there's my whole Starlink research for the last 12 hours or whatever that I came up with, and that's my whole thing. But I'm really actually interested, Melanie, to know more about the human design, by the way, to circle back to that. And if you're working with somebody that is willing to teach you that, I think that is something you should pursue, because I've come to know you pretty well. I think you're a naturally gifted researcher, and that you have an absorptive mind for this type of knowledge. And I think that specializing in something like human design or astrology or anything that tickles your fancy, for that matter, is something that will be really good for you on multiple levels. So I would pursue that if you believe in the woman. I think human design is a great thing to understand and know, and I think that in general, I really honestly, I'm curious in knowing like all the energetic systems, you know what I mean? Like, and people explain them different ways from different schools of thought. Like yoga has one way of explaining it, Kabbalah has one way of explaining it, the Hermetic stuff has a different way of explaining it. The Taoists have a different way of explaining it. But it's all mostly the same. And and on the areas that are slightly different, the slightly different ways that they construct the energy trees, and the way, try to explain the channels of energy and the chakras or energy centers, they bear really strong correlations between them. They're all pretty close, and I understand why they are, because I can feel these channels and things within my body since becoming more in touch with them, but and these different centers. But I also understand, because I can personally feel them, I understand where the differences of the different systems come from as well, why they're different. Because, like, for example, I've explained before, I do feel all the 7 chakras in some way. I experience them all, but I also feel that certain ones are more or less like kind of like connected, or like reliant on each other. Like I feel a connection between the heart and basically everything. Like the heart, if you can open your heart at the same time as working with basically any other chakra, it amplifies the effect severely, like a lot. Now, there's also an amplifying effect between the Manipura chakra and the heart and the sacral chakra, right? But there's also some kind of weird connection between the root chakra and the sacral chakra, to the sense that, to me, the energy flows between these two chakras like really super easily. It's like it's like its own personal little thing going on down there. So I can understand why some systems would consider that like a single energy center. Totally understand that, right? And then I also noticed the same thing, like, I've actually read some stuff recently that kind of made me like second guess some of the things, because like when I had the whole like universal love experience, all that. Obviously, I felt it super, super strong in my heart. And even throughout my whole lungs and everything. But I also felt it like so strong in my throat. And I've also had like a lot of other experiences aside from that one where I know that I was working with this, like this throat chakra for me is like a really, really, really dominant chakra for me. But I always almost feel something in my heart and my lungs and stuff when this is doing its thing. And I've actually activated this chakra so heavily before that, you know, and it's a really, really pleasant feeling when this happens, that my whole, this gland, I guess, is it the thyroid? I think it's the thyroid. Yeah, this thyroid gland was literally like swelled up, but not in like a bad way where like my whole neck, like I was like having like anaphylactic shock. It's just literally like it was like puffy, like it was like probably like an inch of like, you know, like you can see I'm like pretty bony here, you know, a little definite. All that would be gone, was like gone. It was like I was like touching here, and it was like a half an inch or an inch of like padding. And it's just like this glowing feeling, almost kind of like an orgasmic feeling in the neck. But something about that, it's like I've never just had that without feeling something in my heart at the same time. And so you know, there's a connection there too. This is like kind of like almost like a thing. And then of course, like everything going on in the brain is interconnected. Like there's you know, everything in the head is going to be interconnected to some extent too. And yes, there's, okay, of course there's, you know, there's actually more than just like the famous, you know, third eye Ajna chakra and the, you know, crown chakra or whatever. There's, you know, as I've mentioned many a times, I felt something, I had an amazing experience with the one in the back of the head, which has different names depending on the school of thought as well, but some people call it the Bindu, some people call it the Causal chakra. I don't know what they call it in like Kabbalah or whatever, but obviously they know about it because it's right where they wear their little hats. You know what I'm saying? And it's also where like the what are they called? It's like another Indian, I forgot the name, but there's like a type, it's a religion in India that's kind of like a cross between monotheism and polytheism. Like they believe that there's a central god, but they also believe in like the other gods, which is kind of similar to my own understanding. But they're, you know, they wear the turbans and they have the little comb or whatever. I can't remember their names, but they also wear their bun under their turban in that same spot as well. So I know that this is a, you know, it's an I don't know why people don't talk about this chakra more, because that's literally the one that gave me enlightenment. But maybe it's like a hidden secret, super secret chakra or something. I don't know. But long story short is those ones all work together as well. You know what I'm saying? And so all these different schools of thought have a thing. And really, I mean, I would suggest to, you know, I mean, either learn as much as you can about all of them to make a decision about what you feel the most within your body and like allows you to have the most access and functions, and you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, on the physical level, beyond the spiritual side of it, on the physical side of it, you know, what we're doing is we're learning how to function our bodies. We're learning how to make the parasympathetic nervous system more conscious, to have control of it. Instead of having everything on autopilot and auto drive, you can take control of your body and the functions that normally just automatically go. Like if you've ever noticed, you're meditating, or you're going into a meditative state, a lot of schools of thought like have breathing techniques that go into that. But like as you advance, maybe somebody else has had this experience as well. Like for me, okay, maybe if I'm having a low energy day, I'll do some breathing techniques, and that's really super effective. But if I'm having a high powered day, I don't need to do that, because as soon as I start going into a meditative state, the first thing I feel is that my lungs like dilate and open up, and I start like, breathing hard as if I was running or as if I was winded. But instead of it being like, oh, I'm out of breath, it's like, oh, I'm charging up, I'm getting more energy. I'm like, it's a pleasant feeling of being out of breath. So I, that's what I'm talking, that's part of what it is. It's like, I'm saying like that, whatever that release is that happens, like say you're doing cardio really hard, and you get that like kind of burning sensation that like opens up your lungs, and all of a sudden like your lungs are all, expanded and stuff from running or whatever you're doing, or maybe whatever, any kind of cardio related thing. But you can also just do that mentally, as like it's a really strong meditative practice, is if you can just release whatever that chemical is that makes your lungs dilate and open up. And now all of a sudden, like, you're not hurting for oxygen to where your body's doing it because it needs more. It's that you've triggered it yourself, and now you're getting oxygenated, and your blood and your brain and your heart and your muscles, everything, your organs are all coming more alive because they're getting more oxygenated, not because they were lacking oxygen, but just because you triggered your body to bring more in. You know what I'm saying? That's just one thing. You know what I'm saying? Like there's other things, like, even on like, I've unlocked a thing. I don't do it all the time now that I know that I can do it very easily. But like, let's just say I wanted to like self-stimulate myself. I wouldn't even have, I could do it hands-free now. I can just do it like mentally. I can have a full release, whatever, just using my mind, and I can do it so easily now. And so but this is like all different things. Like think about like how many different powers, whatever, how many different abilities come from your liver, or could come from your liver if you had total conscious control of your liver. How much can come from your spleen? What can come from your pancreas? What can come from your heart? What can come from your thyroid? What can come from your pituitary? What can come from your pineal gland? What can come from your there's another one with a T. It's in your brain, the center of the brain thing. You know what I'm saying? What can come from that? What can come from the, your brain stem? What can come from that whole, I forgot what it's called, the cerebral cortex? There's all these different lobes of your brain. What do each one of those do? What happens if you combine the liver and the spleen? What happens if you combine the liver and the heart? What happens if you combine your pituitary and the heart? What happens if you combine, you know what I'm saying? What other capabilities does your colon have? You know what I'm saying? Like, what can your eyes do that you don't know about? Like, what about your lymphatic system? There's all this stuff in your body, and if you just let it go on autopilot, just live your life or whatever, you'll live like it works. But you're like missing out on a big part of the human experience. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's about making the unconscious conscious, and that's on a physical level as well as a spiritual level. That's about dissolving your personality, your ego, and whatever is going on in your head, and unifying with the part of you that existed before this body and the part of you that will exist after this body, right? But as you're doing that, at the same time, a process towards that, and also a result of that, both, is to gain conscious control over your physical body as well. Everything from like I've had like a few injuries recently where I like cut myself really badly. I cut off the tip of my finger, and I dropped a 5-gallon glass bottle and gashed open my leg. And like I found that I could consciously control my bleeding. I could be like, okay, bleed, and it would bleed, and then I'd be like, okay, stop bleeding, and it'll stop bleeding. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's really incredible, you know, what can happen within the body. Now, these different systems also, part of the thing is that you have to also realize is that at different levels of advancement, your system will change. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, you know, like entry level, you know, the chakra system is perfect because these are like major centers that you can feel really acutely, and you notice the effects, you know when it's working, so on and so forth. But at some point as you advance, they unify. You know what I'm saying? And as that unifies, also the other channels are opening up, and these are like smaller channels. You know what I'm saying? There's a shit ton of them. I think in the yogic system it's like 144,000 or something. And by the way, thank you Noi for the super. Is it a super like, or it's a sticker? Thank you though. Either way. So the you know, there's different phases, you know, that you will resonate with also along your journey as you advance more and as you become, and the truth is that the more you advance, the less you will actually need or even want to soil your mind with too many things to think about or to whatever, because you'll start having like a more confidence and more like acute perception of your own body and what's going on in there. But you know, like for example, like the Taoists have like a much more simplified system, but I believe that the reason why that system is simplified is because, you know, they don't teach you that part or have you really, you know, until you're already like advanced enough that you've already, like, you know what I'm saying, basically unified everything. That's just a theory. I'm not saying that that's something I know, but it's just kind of like an observation. You know what I mean? Like it's almost like as if their system is like the after everything has been purified system. Because if you go through a Kundalini awakening, you know, like a sustained full Kundalini awakening, your body starts going through a process, and which I'm going through personally right now, and as I understand it from what little bit of research I've done, is that it can take months or years, you know what I'm saying, and that for everything to do that, because it's literally like a total remapping of your nervous system. You know what I'm saying? Like you're increasing neurons, you're increasing, and in increasing those neurons, like you're increasing, what is it called? Nerve, there's a word for it. But like, you know, when a nerve is like going into like a certain part of your body, it's called a nerve, insulation or anyways, the nerve that controls, you know, you have certain nerves that control each different part of your body, right? And once you go through that whole thing and all of a sudden you wake up the thousands of dormant brain cells inside your brain through the Kundalini awakening, after your brain's gonna, you know, go through the process of turning everything on inside itself. But when it's done doing that, it's going to increase the amount of nerve infiltration or whatever into the different parts of your body. You're going to have literally more nerves going into each different section of your body over time. It'll take time for this to happen, but, you know, and that's going to increase the acuteness of your awareness of that type of body and of that part of your body as well. You know what I'm saying? And this is why also, theoretically, as a theory of my own, part of the reason why I think like the Taoist and so on and so forth, a lot of people practice like martial arts or, you know, yoga, things like that, dude. Well, you know, there's a physical aspects to it because you are also training nerve in indulation. I don't know. You're training your body to increase the amount of nerves running from your brain through your spine and into those different sections, so you have a greater awareness and control of it. Let's see. Oh, there's a lot of chat. Okay, 1 second. Russian, I believe, shoemaker without boots. Frankie says, when did you get that necklace you were wearing from? $10 or $9 on Amazon. Is what it is. I don't actually use it that much anymore. I was actually using it for a while, but I found, I mean, maybe this is like my own personal whatever, but like as far as like, I used to use it for like closed eye meditation, but I stopped that because I found that counting the beads is a distraction for my meditation. So I just prefer to just, you know, kind of go off the feel and just roll with it. And he says, could you update us from, oh yeah, that's a great idea. We would love more updates about the human design and stuff. And if you, maybe it's even a fun thing to practice in the Telegram chat as well. Maybe you could, you know, help people learn a little bit about that. Hello, Tanya, welcome. Pankike, welcome. Okay, let's see. There's also, Melanie says, there's also an energy center in the back of the head where we normally have a vortex in our hair. And yes, I think that is definitely a crucial thing. I think that's what I was just talking about. But yeah, this is the one in the back of the head should not be ignored. In fact, I think it might be one of the very, very, very important ones. But just for the record, though I know everybody will not listen to this, you really should try. I mean, I don't know if it's even possible to have this degree of control, but I would focus on getting the heart open. You know, this isn't how it happened to me. The back of the head one was the first thing that popped off for me, but it brought me quite a bit of, it brought me peace in some sense, and it brought me liberation from the fear of death. But the initial like activation of like the increased like mental power of being able to like see the world for what it really is and understand like more about the world, sadly also makes you understand more about politics and things like that as well. And without having the experience of you know, unconditional love and you know, or the experience of unity and understanding, you know, that brings you like the greater degree of empathy, I can tell you that having opening this one in the back of the head can bring you like can make you a little bit turmoiled. Because like I remember, maybe some other people remember from like the Telegram chat and stuff as well, like there was a point in which I was literally like crying like every day over this. It might be, it's the silliest thing to some people, but literally I cried every day for, you know, I don't know how long. At some point during the day I would shed tears though, simply because I could not find a way to love my enemies. Like I knew that I had to do it. I knew that I needed to do it, but I did not know how to do it. I did not know if it was possible, and it brought me a tremendous amount of discomfort for a little while. It didn't happen right away. Initially, I was like really, you know, up from it. But as the more and more it set in, the more and more processing power that I gained, the more and more I kind of became angry at the situation on this planet. Now, luckily, it was only about a month and a half, you know, from that experience to the time that I was able to experience unconditional love. And then that is what actually, I don't know, I don't know if, like, what the degree of standard empathy is for most people. I know that my own personal level of empathetic abilities like went up like 100 times at least through that experience. So, you know, I think that it's really, 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 really important that if you're going to connect with that light, that you should also make sure that if you don't do it before, that you definitely need to do it at some point after, is to get is to experience unconditional love, because that's what makes it total. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what makes it a good thing. You know what I'm saying? That's what, you know, yeah. Otherwise, you will understand too much to have peace. You know what I'm saying? Without being able to see the bigger picture. And, you know, let me tell you, the more and more that things go, and the bigger picture gets, and the more crazier the world gets, you know, and this is going to be out there. This is going to be one of the weirdest and most probably controversial things I've ever said. But the more and more that I really think about everything and think about how to bring this world out of the darkness, and this is going to be hard to believe, you guys. You got to think on a really, really abstract level to get here. But the more and more I think about it, the more and more I think that there is actually somebody in control of all this. Like, somebody is processing all this. In some type of spiritual way. And even with all the horrible aspects of it, it might just be that they are doing the absolute best that they can, working with what they got. Because I do see some very, very abstract and hard to understand plan behind the way that the real world works, not the surface level mainstream media or any type of whatever. Like, there's a whole level of workings that are like so much deeper than that, that I think really understands like the concept of trying to change the world into a way where there's less evil, but without turning good people bad. If that makes sense. I'm trying to like put this into like a digestible form. So, you know, obviously there is a lot of fucked up shit in the world, and it would be great if somebody had the power to just snap their finger and be like, okay, this is all done. But that's not the case. There's free will, and there's, you know, supposedly 7 billion people on the planet. Like, it's complicated, right? But I started thinking about it. You know, I talked about this recently, about how humans, you know, you can think of the human body not as like yourself, your body, but like as all humans combined, right? And in that sense, we think of like the most evil people are like a kind of like a cancer, right? They're like killing our own body, right? So the problem is that if you take good people to fight against evil people, what you end up doing, sadly, is that you turn good people evil. You know what I'm saying? Which is a concept and a concern that only a very, very, very spiritually complete person can have, is of how much worse it is to turn a good person bad than it is to get rid of a bad person. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is an ultimate level of failure. You know what I'm saying? And it's also the level of failure that, if unacceptable to whoever is running shit, would dramatically complicate the whole thing. Because if it was just about removing the evil, I believe we do have probably the technology and manpower to do that. But the problem is that whoever does the dirty work will now be kind of in that bunch, and we will have basically just replaced what we got rid of with a new version of that. You know what I'm saying? Not only that, but we'll take part of the better part of our human body and we'll have converted it into this negative aspect. So how do you fix that? How do you fucking fix it? It's very complicated, right? And I realized that the best thing I can come up with is like quarantine. And I don't mean like the quarantine that we all got put through, but I mean in the sense of like the quarantine, like when we used to have a really bad riot in prison, like a one that was so bad that the cops and everything, like they wouldn't go in there and do their goon squad thing. They would instead lock all the doors to that perimeter of the area, shoot some tear gas and whatever, make it as hellish as possible, and just let it burn itself out. You know what I'm saying? Let everyone just, everyone who was trying to be a knucklehead can just knuckle up until there's, no fight left. And maybe that's kind of what's happening, is like, maybe it's like, I always think like this world's not that great. Like, why are we fucking specializing in all these weapons and this and the other? And, the whole economy and everything is all based upon that. And it's like, okay, in a perfect world, maybe that would be nice if it wasn't like that. But like in an unperfect world, how do we get to a perfect world without turning good people evil? Well, the obvious answer is that you get the evil to turn on the evil. You know what I'm saying? You get those who are killing to kill the other people that are killing, right? I don't know, that might be too controversial, or I hope I don't get in trouble for saying that, but you know what I'm saying? Like you get the evil to turn on the evil, right? And so how do you do that? Well, it's simple in our world. You just weapons. You know what I'm saying? And lock the door. Arm them and lock the door. It's that easy. Because that's just what naturally happens. Like, that's the problem to begin with. It's like the Tao says, a violent man will die a violent death. Right? And so for that reason, we can't take non-violent people and have them go fight the violent people. Now we just created violent people to replace non-violent people. What we need instead is for like violent people to remove the other violent people until there's very few left, and then those can be dealt with in whatever way necessary. But like, just on like a thought. So this is like the very, very surface level of what I'm trying to explain, but I truly think that that maybe there's something more benevolent than realized at the top of this whole social structure of our world, and that their job is just so much fucking harder than we realize, because they are shackled by the need to appease not just their own personal karma, but our karma as a species, because we are all interconnected and combined. And if we want our planet to ascend to the next dimension, like, it's going to be, the only way that can happen is through our total karma as a whole, as a species, to become discharged. Anyways, I hope I didn't lose anyone on that. I'm kind of scared to go to the chat, but let me go ahead to the chat. Thank you for another donation, Noy. That is beautiful. Melanie says, bringing attention to the body can really be a kind of alchemical process, and absolutely, I think that-that's honestly the catalyst to the alchemical process. You know, it's attention to the body and surrender. Those two things combined, I feel like are kind of like the keys there. Hola, Matthias. Noy says, I have the same kind like that. We call it tabi. We use it to do our secure. Wick says, it is hard to love enemies because enemies cause so much hate. Yes, that is true. But, and this is the part that you literally can't, it's like, I personally could have never come up with this concept without seeing it with my own eyes. But the thing is that you got to realize that that's what creates the contrast. That is the temptation of evil, even in the form of like revenge and things like that, is the thing. It's the test for those that are good. It's the hammer, you know, that beats out the impurities from the steel. You know what I'm saying? It's we're honing it. We're making a sword. You know what I'm saying? We start with a piece of steel. You know what I'm saying? We got to heat it up, right? But then we got to beat the hell out of it. And you know what is left in the end is the purest form, and it's going to be way stronger than anything that has like little impurities in it. And that's like the same with us as humans. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, nobody wants to get fucking hammered. It doesn't feel good. But well, in this metaphor, but you know what I'm saying? It's our enemies are what tests our own divinity and our own ability to be compassionate and good and have empathy and understanding for everybody. And so it's really fucking hard, but it's necessary for what this world is actually for. You gotta remember that there is a purpose to this. You know what I'm saying? And the purpose of this is not for you to like fucking walk around and fucking, you know, eat some food and, you know, do a little humping and, you know, maybe fight some wars and whatever, fucking build some shit and go to work or whatever you like, whatever most people think life is about. It has zero to do with all that. This world exists only for one purpose. Only for one purpose. And this is very, very, this is one thing that I'm going to tell you. You know, most everything I leave open up to interpretation. I say, oh, you know, everything's open to whatever. This is a belief, whatever. You know, I like to leave shit open. This is not open. This is like, I'm telling you this. Is the only reason for this world's existence is to create divinity. Okay? To create divine souls. Okay? And everything else doesn't matter. Everything else is a cog in the machine. It's all everything else is a gear in the machine that is designed to do one thing, and that's create divinity. You know what I'm saying? In the same, you know, way any other machine would work that has a specific purpose. It has a lot of parts doing different things, right? Some of those parts sometimes have to be replaced, whatever, but the machine itself is doing one thing. And this world is a machine, and it does one thing. It creates divinity, and it will use any method to do that. And sadly, one of the main method for it to do that is to create hostile, crazy situations, whatever, and let people deal with that, and you know what I'm saying, digest that and try to see that from multiple angles of multiple people, because ultimately we are all one. You know what I'm saying? And so it's the illusion of individuality that creates this system that creates divinity, and through individuality and free will, it's a perfect system. It's a cold-hearted system. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is why there was a big disagreement about the existence of this world being created and coming into existence. Long before this world ever existed, there was a big disagreement about it. Okay? And the world is proving itself that it does what it was created to do, which is that one thing, which it does, but in a most brutal way, which is why there was a disagreement. But if the end result is a more populous dimension above, full of amazing personalities that have been honed through thousands and thousands and thousands of lives into the coolest individual possible, then, you know, because you know, let's face it, if you're eternal, right, and you're gonna live endlessly for all of eternity without time or anything, as a soul, as a higher dimensional being, you don't want to fucking hang out with people that ain't cool for all of eternity, right? so this world is where the cool souls come from. You gotta come here, you get beat down a little bit, you know what I'm saying, whatever. Eventually you like see everything for what it really is, and then you just have gratitude, and you go back and you're hanging out with all the coolest souls that ever existed in all of eternity. And that's what it's all about. It's beautiful. Anyways, sorry. That was a little weird. Fernie says, empathy makes you highly vulnerable, and in my opinion, it's necessary to experience unconditional love. Yes, exactly. The empathy thing is, well, I don't know if I would even say vulnerable. It can kind of even make you, without the unconditional love, it almost can make you, I don't know why, wrathful. You know what I'm saying? Without unconditional love, understanding what is going on in this world brings out wrath. It brings out the wrathful side of you. You know what I'm saying? And if you experience the unconditional love, which, you know, is where I personally learned what empathy really means, because I think that, you know, historically in my life before that experience, I think that I very severely confused sympathy with empathy. You know, empathy is just such a greater understanding of the scope of perception. You know, but to think that you are empathetic and not really being empathetic is a tremendous vulnerability that very manipulative people can and will exploit in you. So it's also very important to understand, like, truly what it means to look through the scope of perception. Wiggs says, Wiggs, you should join our Telegram group. If you're very welcome, by the way. Everybody should. If okay, says, we would love to see there. Do you think money can buy you happiness? No, but it can buy you a dog. But you could also find a dog, so you don't really need money. You know, happiness doesn't come from money. Happiness comes from dogs. But, sorry, just kidding. But no, I don't really think money can buy you happiness in the standard sense of that some people are born with a lot of money and they always have money and they never are happy. You know, but somebody who has never had money, never experienced money, or maybe has always been really stressed out and about money, and they suddenly have money, they can be alleviated from that stress, and the alleviation of stress can bring happiness. But, you know, if we're talking about, you know, other people could be on the other side of that equation, similar to myself, where like, okay, I'm having money issues, but I also have a bunch of like physical stuff that I still have lugging around from when I, you know, things were more plentiful, and that stuff is all the source of my unhappiness. So you could actually say that while, okay, some influx of money would make me relieved on some level, whatever, and you could say that that would make me happier. On the same token, me getting rid of all the stuff that I have, that I bought with all the money that I made, you know, me getting rid of that stuff is also going to attribute to my happiness. So in that sense of the thing, you say money also contributes to unhappiness. So so the what's the moral of that story, since we don't have a definitive answer, is that it's subjective, you know, and that money is not real or important. It's money is a representation of a store of value, but it's not really a good representation because it's not backed by anything. Now, this is something that is not really that relevant because, you know, with a tiny bit of education, you can learn how to manage financial vehicles to the point where you actually can, you know, where the fiat currency, which we have so many complaints about, is not actually where you store your value. It's quite simple to do all that stuff if you know what you're doing, but it's just risky because there's different metrics to every different thing, and every different thing reacts in different ways, and so on and so forth, that you just need to know what you're doing. But, you know, when you're dealing with something like, for example, equity in a company, it's backed by equity in that company. You know, if you're dealing with something like a futures contract, it's backed by the physical underlying commodity that you're trading, you know, and so on and so forth. But the so it's not like whatever. So, you know, when you say the word money, you know, it's also partially important to come up with what your actual definition of money is. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you keep all your money in fiat currency, that's a source of, that's slavery. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're just buying into the modern day slave system. So, you know, me personally, being a person that believes freedom is the most valuable thing in this world after love, you know, I, you know, personally, I don't really, you know, if I had anything extra more than what I need for my day-to-day life, I would never ever keep it in the form of fiat currency. Do you know what I'm saying? At least not more than like 20% of whatever total that I had. It's just not anything that you can say. So you can really, you know, look at this different ways. Like, I mean, maybe somebody doesn't have a lot of fiat currency, but they own their house and it's paid off. You know what I'm saying? That's also a form of slavery because you're paying, if you're paying taxes on that house. But you know what I'm saying? So on and so forth. You just gotta, like, you gotta look at everything as in a different light. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's you know, like, if you're renting your house, you're owned by the guy that owns the house. If you own the house, you're owned by the bank. You know what I'm saying? If your house is paid off, you're owned by the government. You know what I'm saying? It's all a question of who is your owner. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to money. You know what I mean? Like if you have all your money invested in Apple, then Apple owns you. You know what I'm saying? If you have all your money invested in Tesla, Tesla owns you. You know what I'm saying? Like it's all a matter of how you look at it. Now, that's just my opinion. Can money buy me happiness? No. But can money buy you happiness? I don't know. You have to answer that question. Can money buy someone else happiness? I don't know. You gotta ask them that question. Somebody who's never had money will be quite happy for at least a little while if they get a bunch of money. But the thing is that, you know, everything's about the test of time. Like I tell people about this when it comes to like gambling, you know. For those that don't know, I'm a very experienced gambler. And people say, well, doesn't the house always win? Well, yeah, over the course of infinity, the house does always win. You know what I'm saying? Being a gambler is not about defeating the undefeatable, which is the house edge. Being a gambler is about manipulating time. You know what I'm saying? At least in some games. So like, for example, like in craps, you know, there's a feature called free odds. And this is a free bet. Doesn't mean that it's free. You still have to put money, but it means that it pays equal to what the odds are. There's no edge. It's the same as flipping a coin. So it's like, you say you want to bet that there will be a 10 before a 7. Well, there's 6 7s and there's 3 10s. So that's a 2 to 1. So if you bet $1, you win $2 if the 4 comes before the 7, right? This is mathematically the same as a 50-50 that pays 1 to 1. Now, how do we defeat that house edge if the house always wins? Well, we manipulate time. So by having availability of a free bet, which you always have to make some kind of bet in order to place odds, so it's not ever completely free. But being able to place free odds means that I can bet against myself for free, right? Which is a consolidation of risk. Okay, so if you want to, you have the ability in this specific game to consolidate your risk at any time by betting against yourself, right? Now, of course, if you bet against yourself and whatever, you know, and you know, there's going to be a counterbalance. You know, there's two sides to every coin, but the point being is that by doing that, you can manipulate time because you can move your risk from wherever it lands naturally, and you can move it to a place where something is less likely to happen. So maybe you have a more catastrophic loss if that less likely thing happens. But since you've consolidated all your risk into like a single point for a single moment, and then once you pass that, it's unlikely to happen. But if it did happen, you're going to lose all your money. But if it didn't happen, you've now already accepted your risk, you consolidate it, and you passed it. Okay, now you're in a point where you have no risk. Okay, and then once you're in a position where you've already consolidated your risk and passed it, now you can use the concept of compound interest, or compounding in general, you know. And that's back to the thing that I talked about the other stream of two guys got $100. One guy bets $10 for 10 rolls and wins 10 times in a row. He has now made $100, and he risked $100 to make that $100, which is equal to putting the whole 100 on one spin and winning or losing. It's no difference. It's just that it takes 10 spins. Versus the other guy that has $100, he bets $10 at a time, and even if he loses 9 times in a row, but on the 10th time, but he never picks up the money he wins. You know what I'm saying? If he wins 10 times in a row, he has $10,000. He still only risked $10 at a time, and he still only risked $100 in total, but his payoff is 10,000 instead of 100. Do you know what I'm saying? And he had the same risk. It's just that he used compound interest to his thing. So it doesn't even matter if he lost the first 9, he's down 90, but on the 10th time he wins, and he just lets it roll, just lets it ride. And if he wins 10 times in a row after losing 9 times in a row, guess what? He lost 90 on the first 9 rolls, and in the next 10 rolls he made 10,000. You know what I'm saying? Does that mean that the house doesn't always win? No, the house still will always win, but it doesn't mean that they're going to win it from you, because you're limited in time. You're only going to be at the casino for a little while. Your whole lifespan is only going to be so long. You're only going to be a gambler for 5, 10 years, whatever, right? So it doesn't fucking matter to you, right? And then you might say, oh, well, why would I go take a 2.71% house edge when I could go have an 8% advantage on the SPX, right? But guess what? When you cash out the SPX with your 8% advantage, the government wants like 30-40% for capital gains. Now, which was a worse fucking deal? You know what I'm saying? Like the 2.71% that you got paid in cash, house edge, and you just had to manipulate time, or you know, the 8% advantage in your favor, because that's the average that index goes up every year, that you have to pay 40%, 30%, 35%, something crazy like that, fucking for capital gains, right? Same thing with your house. This is why you never sell anything. You just always want to roll everything over, because that's how you do the same thing of the compound interest or whatever, is that you just never cash out. You can never fucking cash out. So that's the downside to, you know, the financial markets versus the casino. But the cool thing about the financial markets is that you have options. This is where it balances out. So that's not all bad. You have things that you can, like equity, that have dividends. You know, so you can also gain compounding that way. And I always say, again, this isn't a recommendation of investment, not a financial advisor, but if I was going to recommend to anybody to learn one investment strategy or one way to manage their money, you know, to get away from fiat system, I would say learn one simple technique, and that is sell cash secured puts. Okay, a put is a contract that gives, it's an options contract that gives the buyer an option to sell at a certain price, right? So if you buy a put and the price goes down, you make money, right? Because you have the right to sell for this price, but now you can buy it for cheaper. So you don't even have to have the asset. You can now buy it, sell it to the person that you have the contract with, and keep the difference, right? So let's say the price, just for round numbers, price is 100, the price goes down to 50, right? But you already have a contract that's good up until this date to sell for 100. Well, now you can go and buy for 50, the 100 shares or whatever that's in the options contract, and you sell it for 100 each. You know what I'm saying? So you made $5,000. You know what I mean? So that's the way a put contract works. Now that's the buyer. Now I'm saying to sell cash secured puts. So that means you sold them the option. So if the price goes down, they're going to make money off of you, right? Well, the thing is that you're cash secured, which means you have the money to pay for those stocks in your account, right? So you make the deal for 100. Okay, I'll buy 100 shares for 100. The price goes down to 50. Now you still have to pay 100 shares for 100, even though you could have gone to the open market and bought it for 50. Now it's on a different day. The price has already gone down. So you're like, okay, I got boned for $50 a share. That's huge, right? But the thing is that you're cash secured. You just, paid You made the deal. That person paid you probably $500 or something for that contract to begin with. They never get that money back. You get to pocket that $500 no matter what. Now, if the price goes down $50 and, you know, it's for 100 shares, which an option contract is, you're going to have, that person's fine with the fact that they paid $500 because they were paying $500 to protect themselves in case that happened, and they made $5,000 off of it, so they profited $4,500, right? How does that benefit you as a seller? Well, if the price goes up and doesn't go down, if the price is even 1 penny above the price that you sold the contract for, you get to keep that $500 and you don't have to buy any fucking shares. You just get to pocket $500 for free, for nothing, just for selling that contract that says that, hey, I'll buy them for 100. But if the price is 101, nobody's going to buy, nobody wants to sell for 100 if they could sell on the open market for 101. So you get to pocket all the $500 that they paid for that contract, right? And now you can keep and repeat this over and over again. Well, what happens if it does go down and you end up having to buy, maybe it only goes down $1 or whatever. You still have to buy the shares. That person only made $100 off of that, and they paid $500, so they're at a $400 loss. But you got $500 discount on rare, so you're still up $400 on that, and you still have the shares that you can sell later on or whatever. You can let them drip and collect equity, so on and so forth. So that's what I mean by selling cash secured puts. Anytime that you would have enough money to buy 100 shares of a stock that you're interested in, you go and sell a put. And you hope that that raises and that you never have to buy the shares and you just get to keep the money from the put contract. But if it does go down and you have to buy the shares, then you do what's called buy and hold, because you're only selling this shit on stocks that you wanted to fucking buy. So you're getting a discounted rate on anything. If you were going to go and buy that 100 shares, say right now you're like, okay, I want to buy 100 shares of this stock for 100 each. The price is 100. You're like, I'm ready to buy. Why the fuck would you buy that when you could just sell a contract to buy it? And then they're going to pay you for that contract. You get to keep the money no matter what. And then the money is going to go towards whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like it's basically a discount when you actually buy the shares. So you're getting a better price. You know what I mean? So this is like, the money thing is really abstract, and maybe I have a different way of looking at it because I know how to manipulate it and do shit with it. This is the kind of thing, like, we'd be living in a completely different world, a very, 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 very different world, if they didn't try to, gatekeep all this information and they actually taught it in like high school or like, alongside the other actually important things, that you need to know to function in our modern society. Which, not to say, for me personally, like, I think everything should be backed by something, you know what I mean? Or if we are going to have money that's not backed by anything, which there's a place for that, but there's no place for that in a system that charges income tax. You know what I'm saying? Because our income taxes don't actually pay for anything. It's just something to give the illusion that we're funding something, but it's really just like a handicap to like make it harder for you to advance. The real money that pays for everything is the money that they print, or in a sense they issue bonds, which is a promise to print. And that's what backs our entire world is bullshit. So, and it would just, if every single person was involved in the financial markets instead of primarily just the big mega corporations involved in the financial markets, it would create like a much freer system. And it would also, in my own opinion, it's like the truer form of democracy. It's democracy from capitalism. It's, I think that, people, if everyone kept their money in like shares instead of in fiat, or if they were educated to do that, then essentially, like, we could sink any company that was operating in a way that we as the people felt was unacceptable or immoral or whatever. You know what I'm saying? We could literally cancel, we could bring cancel to the corporate markets. You know what I'm saying? If everybody operated on that pretense of that they stopped keeping fiat, they start keeping whatever. This is also like side by side with the whole working thing. Rather than asking for minimum wage, we should refuse to work and drive up the price of the job market. It shouldn't be because the government said, oh, hey, it's got to be $10 an hour minimum. It should be because nobody in their fucking right mind will work for that. You know what I'm saying? It should be that there should be a premium on work because nobody will fucking do it for less. You know what I'm saying? This same concept can be on like a fucking multi-billion-dollar corporate level as well. If everybody was keeping their shares and shit, it's like, if you aren't fucking complying with the wants and needs of the people, if you find out you're putting poison in our food or whatever, harming the environment, whatever, then we all fucking sell and we fucking crash your stock and we put your company out of business. You know what I mean? Like, that's the way that I see as like an improvement over the current system. That's just my own personal opinion. Anyways, I went way too deep on that, but you triggered a little something because I obviously, have a thing with this, so it's whatever. I'm gonna go ahead and specializing in weapons because we are great. Yeah, great. Magic, welcome. Good morning. Let's see. Noise says it takes a lot of patience to forget hatred, and the only way is to be grateful. Gratitude is honestly like, if you can wake up every day and say thank you first thing and feel it in your heart, like, this is a major big thing. Noise says, and we will find a way that there is the way to make us strong in controlling our hearts. One word: surrender. I think I've read the quote about money can buy happiness. When you give your money to someone who really needs it, and joy and happiness will become your... Oh, I love that. That is so true. I don't know what baraka is, but it means blessing. That is so fucking true. That is so fucking true. I'm shook by that. I don't know why I didn't think of that. I feel like I feel a little bit aloof. Noi, thank you for that. That is so fucking beautiful. That motivates me to make money, honestly. You guys, I got to the bottom of the chat. It's been a couple hours. I think that was a weird stream, but it was a good stream. Does anyone have any last minute questions or anything you want to discuss before I pop off of here? I got some other things to do today. I got to go export some videos. I got to upload some ads for selling shit on Facebook, and I just got a bunch of shit to do. Frank Geddes says, too bad I didn't have you at uni at the whole economics class. The professor was so bad at explaining, never understood anything. You're doing a good job, way better to explain that stuff. Yeah, I studied it through the whole pandemic. I went on to like a total, I became so obsessed throughout the whole pandemic by the whole financial markets that I studied it day in, day out. The only thing that I did besides studying financial markets during that time was actually investing and playing financial shit. And sadly, well, not sadly, it was actually some really good moments with that. But the thing is that I would highly suggest, from my own personal experience, to not do what I did and just go in and learn all this like with live money. They have what's called paper accounts, where you can get like a fake account with fake money in it that you can practice with. And you need to know the software really, really well before you start using it. Just saying. Melanie says, I love when you explain complex things like financial things or gambling. You're so highly intelligent, so sexy. I'm sorry, I just couldn't stop myself from saying that. Oh, thank you, Melanie. That's a lovely thing to say. Thank you, Noi, again for another super like. And you've been very great. You've been very generous today. I very much appreciate that. Great day to you as well, Melanie. Magic, you missed the whole stream. At least you made it for the wrap up. Yeah, but it might be worth. It's a different stream than usual. I probably won't put this one in the spiritual. I don't know. Do you guys think I should put this in the spiritual playlist, or was that like too much financial talk to be spiritual? I feel like there's some certain like an arbitrage. See, I'm going into my thing. There's an interaction between spirituality and finances, weirdly enough. I don't think there should be like that, but sadly there is we're in a world where everything is based around this system. So if we're going to value freedom, we have to also value I guess stores of value. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and go. Frankita, thank you for coming. Zana, Noi, Melanie, Magic, Susan Larson, Kenny, Wiggs, Madius, Tanya, and Kike, Asher Gray, and Dominic, Samir. I'm sure most of you aren't still here, but oh, Sam says it's time to go. Also, he wants attention. He wants to say hello to everyone in the stream. Say hello. What's up, buddy? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That was gross. Puppy love. All right, you guys. I'm signing off. Thank you, everyone that donated. Zana, thank you again for the donation. Noi, thank you. Thank you all, everybody. Much love. Bye.